I'm Grace Joseph, and you're onto the Gracia Memoir session. 5 times in a row. At least that's the number of times Bitcoin made an attempt to breach the downward trend line. On the 5th attempt, it was a huge success. We may have seen cautious price movements towards that trend line and several rejections, but towards the weekend, there was an upward breakout. So guys, what's next? Should you long now, close your shorts, or sit by the sidelines? Let's find out. I'm Grace Joseph, and you're onto the Gracia Memoir session. February's first week may not have begun on a good note for bulls, but it called for celebration towards the end of the week. You and I know why that is already, but I'll still go ahead and spell it out. A lot of bullish signals not seen since November 2021 emerged within 1 week. What are these signals? The first is price's breach of the downward trend line, hinting that a change has begun in our intermediate trend. Another bullish signal is evident on the weekly, where the first green momentum candle since December 2021 has been formed. Now, that's not just a random green candle, because its close could complete the formation of a morning star. What makes this morning star stand out is the fact that an evening star on the daily was one of the early signs during the onset of this intermediate downtrend. This time around, the star pattern is gotten off a weekly time frame and not the daily, which gives it more weight. But do all these positive developments mean the downtrend is completely over? Not really. They are only an indication that the bulls' greed is more intense than their fear, which wasn't the case weeks ago. Thus, bears may have to reconsider their stance, be a bit more cautious, or run for cover. As with bearish signals from November 2021, which required confirmation before calling the end of the uptrend, the same applies to this potential reversal. A conservative trader would want to see fan lines formation where the third line is breached. That's to say, we need a higher high and higher low formation. I'm also taking a conservative stance instead of being aggressive, since there are still bearish signals on the monthly time frame. How is that, you may wonder? Take a look at the monthly chart, since it gives a long-term perspective of the market and will therefore drive future prices. February's candle opened near the closing price of January's candle, but it still continued the dreadful work the latter began. This month's candle could almost be called a successor to last month's candle, because our current support and resistance lie between 31k and 39k, which is even lower than January's 39k and 49k support and resistance levels respectively. Despite price's breach of February's resistance on intraday levels, we need a monthly candle whose close is above 39k and not a candle that wicks out. With this in place, it will be another major confirmation that the short-term downtrend is over. From a weekly perspective, we had a supply formation of drop-based drop, which could turn into drop-based rally. But that's still uncertain. This is because the resistance for February's first week is around 40 to 42k. Hence, price needs to close above this resistance by the week's end. On a 2-week basis, price is being supported by the EMA 50. The EMA's ability to keep supporting price could foster a trend reversal. Over and above that, expectations are high for Bitcoin's daily chart, given that most traders rely on its signals. Our breakout candle breaches the 39k resistance, which means price could trade as high as 46k in the coming days. On an inverted scale, we see that price didn't make an extended move after its breach of the inverse head and shoulders pattern. Instead, there was a retest of the neckline, which failed to hold, thereby hinting higher prices. Given that there is no confirmation yet about a new trend, it will be best to stay out of the market for now. Sitting on the sidelines means if this is really an uptrend, you would have missed out on early entries on your favorite alts. Despite that, you must not be the first in the market, especially when it's not certain the trend has changed. That will be all for now until next week on another session on Gracia's memoir. I'm Grace Joseph and we are on to the Gracia memoir session.